game. Now with logistics bots already being available, I'm not sure yet how many products I'm gonna add to the bus, but we made sure to leave plenty of space between the current bus and the walking path. Now, if you've watched any of those main bus tutorials, this small setup may surprise you, but I like to keep it compact, and I have a different strategy to supply the late game requirements. Late game, I intend to outsource the mass production of steel and green chips to elsewhere in the base, which frees up the full 2 belts of iron and copper for all the other purposes. By going for productivity modules instead of efficiency modules, after switching on all of this, our power consumption has seriously spiked up and we are using about a quarter of our nuclear reactor's capacity right now. At the moment, the reactor is not consuming fuel as you see, which is a good indicator that the idea behind the 100% fuel efficient reactor is working. It won't get any new fuel until all of the buffered heat is fully transformed into steam on an as needed basis. If you're thinking, dude, but still, 2 belts only? There's just no way that that's enough. Well, perhaps you're right, perhaps you're wrong. Let's play on and see how it plays out. Alright, ready for the next concept. I understand many folks hate the mess that the yellow storage chests make, but are not quite sure how to get the best performance out of the green buffer chests. So I'm going to go through the concept of how I use them to basically make a fully automated sorting system in Factorio. Now don't worry, this explanation is going to be much simpler than the nuclear plant one. The short version is to think of them as passive provider chests with an attitude, as they will request back the stuff you try to take from them. This is actually pretty easy to set up, but there's a decent amount of fiddly work involved to get it all done. The core concept is to connect a wire from the inserter to the chest and telling the inserter to stop filling the chest at a certain point. Here we go with 4000 copper plates, which leaves 800 copper plates worth of space empty. Now the inserter stops after inserting 4000 plates by itself. We can delete the chest limiter, which formerly had the same function, and then we set the request for the bots to fill the chest up to 4800 copper plates. This means should copper plates become available anywhere else in the base, the bots will automatically bring them to this chest here instead of some random storage chest. Only when all the green buffer chests are full, they will bring it to a random yellow storage chest. But, and here's another key element, once the buffer chests start distributing plates and emptying out, the plates in those yellow storage chests will automatically be transferred back to the buffer chests again. And only when the storage chests are empty and the buffer chest drops below the 4000 plates, the inserter will activate again. The key point is to avoid using yellow and red chests at any production site which is producing items we have the green buffer chest set up for, as buffer chests will request their stuff. The green buffer chests do not request from other green buffer chests though. Now, we'll not only use this concept on the plates buffer, but also on the intermediates buffer. And indeed, we are going to do so on just about everything. And here's our first manufacturing block, indeed again using the green buffer chests. When using the system, you want to check the request from buffer chest tick mark on the blue requester chest to ensure your items get made. To illustrate this, let's start simple with the yellow transport belt. You simply shift right click the assembler, then shift left click the requester chest, which causes the requester chest to automatically request the required ingredients. Handy. We then limit the output inserter to stop inserting yellow belts in the chest whenever there are more than 2000 yellow belts in the chest. This will stop yellow belt production before the chest is even half full, so that the bots have plenty of space to bring back obsolete yellow belts to this very buffer chest here. The next assembler will make underground belts. Again, we copy and paste the recipe from the assembler to the requester chest and behold, it requests the yellow belt we've just set up. This is why you need to check that check mark by the way, so that the bots can grab belts from the yellow belt buffer chest below to provide to the underground belts. Now we set the request for the buffer chest so that all obsolete yellow underground belts will be brought back to this very chest, for example when the bots deconstruct them or